Hello friends, today we are going to continue chapter number 8, Framing of Constitution and its Features, lecture number 14. Friends, up to now in this chapter we have discussed about the meaning of Constitution, what is the importance of Constitution. Friends, we discussed about that what is Constitution. It means the collection of rules to govern any country is known as Constitution of that country. Friends, we discussed that why this Constitution is very important, as this Constitution shows the correct path for any country towards its development, towards the welfare of the people, towards the welfare of the country. Friends, we discussed that it is this Constitution that shows the aims and objectives of the country. We discussed about the Constitution of India, in which we understood that our Constitution is not permanent or rigid. Our Constitution is one of the such Constitution in which amendments are possible, in which changes are possible, as per the expectations, as per the aspirations and the wishes of the people. As the time passes, as developments happens in the country, amendments can be made in our Constitution. Friends, we discussed that after the year 1976, several words were added in our Constitution, in the preamble as well. We discussed about the framing of the Constitution, that when the Britishers decided to give India independence, they sent a cabinet mission to India to discuss about the independence of India. They submitted their report with the suggestion of framing a Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution of India. And as per the recommendation of this cabinet mission, the Constituent Assembly was made. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the president of this Constituent Assembly. Several well-known leaders, they gave their contribution in framing our Constitution. They made the drafting committee to draft the Constitution of India under the chairmanship of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Several members from different geographical diversities, different regions, different sectors, different religion, caste, creed, they contributed. They gave their contribution in this framing of Constitution. And with the united efforts of all these, at last on 26 January 1950, our Constitution came into force. Our Constitution was implemented on us. And so, since then, every year on 26 January, we Indians celebrate as our Republic Day, one of our national festival. Friends, we also discussed about the preamble, which is a very important part of this Constitution. It is considered as the soul of Constitution. It guides about the aims and objectives of the Constitution. Friends, we discussed about the democratic country, secular country, a socialist country. All these words were added into the amendments that were made after 1976. Friends, we discussed that these about the basic features of the Constitution as well, in which we discussed several features like written document, the size of the Constitution, single citizenship, strong federal structure of our country, unified arrangement during crisis, a parliamentary system. We discussed about the universal adult franchise in our previous lecture. Friends, today we learn some more basic features of our constitution. Let us continue by understanding another feature, that is judicial review. Starting with the basic, one more feature, that is judicial review. Judicial review. As we all have previously learned about the word judiciary, in which we discussed that in previous features, but there was one of the features in which independent and impartial judiciary. We discussed about independent and impartial judiciary. This judiciary gives the judgment whenever it's necessary for the welfare of the country. Here now we are talking about this judicial review. The power of the court of law. Now here we are talking about the power of the court of law to administer and also to review. It is having the power to administer and review working of union and state. Review working of union and state. It is called judicial review. Now friends, let us understand what is this judicial review. If we want to learn about judicial review, here the judicial review means the power is with the court of the law, that court can administer and review all the working of the union and state government. Means whatever working that is happening in the union government or state government can be administered and reviewed by the courts, and that is called judicial review. That means the judiciary is reviewing whatever decisions, whatever working are done by the union as well as the state government. Friends, again, judicial review is the chief characteristics of our constitution. Friends, here it is said judicial review is one of the chief characteristics of constitution, because here whatever working the member which are the part of the government, whatever working they are doing, judiciary is reviewing, they are administering each and every working of that government, and that is why the government will be aware to do their working honestly and according to the welfare of the country. Judicial reviews. If we talk about judicial reviews, reviews on the matters such as judicial reviews on the matter such as amendments made by the parliament, on the matters such as amendments that are made in parliament by the parliament members by the parliament members in the parliament. Then also the external orders as well as the external orders, also the ordinance that is passed, any ordinance, any order that is passed, and judicial judgment, etc. What works these judicial reviews? Here it is said that judicial reviews whatever amendments, whatever changes that the parliament member has made in the parliament, whatever changes they have made in the constitution, that is reviewed by the judicial review. Also they review on the external affairs of our country, ordinance that is passed, any order that is passed on the behalf of our country, and all the judicial judgment that is passed by the courts are reviewed by the judicial review. So this is considered as a very chief characteristic. Here if we talk, if the court finds, when we talk that if this court finds any problem, if the court finds any kind of problem in any external order or ordinance, we can say, or judicial judgment, or the judicial judgment, it can stop it by declaring it unconstitutional, and hence it can void it means it can cancel it. Friends, here it is the information about judicial review. Judicial review then reviews on the matter, and if judicial review finds that there is any problem in the external affairs or the ordinance that is passed by the government or any judicial judgment, if there is any problem, then this judicial review can stop it by declaring it unconstitutional. They can stop it by declaring it unconstitutional and can void their decision. They can void the external affair, they can void whatever ordinance that is passed, and by declaring it unconstitutional. So friends, this was the information about judicial review. Let us understand about another basic feature, that is fundamental rights and duties. Friends, now understanding about fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights and duties. Those rights which are necessary. If we talk about fundamental rights, those rights which are necessary for every human being, for every human being It is necessary for every human being in order to achieve an all-round development. To achieve an all-around development are known as fundamental rights. Friends, here is the meaning of fundamental rights. Whichever rights are necessary for every human being to achieve its overall development, that is known as the fundamental right of that particular person. Friends, we learn about these fundamental rights in our further chapters in detail. But here, we as being an important basic feature of Constitution, here the understanding is given about the fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights means whichever right a human being needs for an overall development for a person, that is called the fundamental rights for that particular person. The Constitution, if we talk about the Constitution, provides various fundamental rights to every citizen. Here it is said that our Constitution provides various fundamental rights to each and every citizen. It also lists various duties. It also lists various duties that every Indian citizen, duties that every Indian citizen must fulfill. Along with the rights, our Constitution also lists some of the duties to us that every citizen needs to follow. Friends, there is a difference between the rights and duties. Rights are the such rights that we can enjoy our rights as per our own wish. But the duties are such duties that we have to follow compulsory, that is given by the country. For the welfare of the country, it is each and every responsibility to follow this duty very honestly. So friends, all government along with the rights, they also list various duties for each and every citizen that they need to fulfill for the welfare of the country. The most valuable, if we talk about the most valuable assets of our country, lies the most valuable assets of our country lies in the overall development of the nation. Overall development of the nation. These assets lies in the fundamental rights and duties. These assets lies in the fundamental rights and duties. So these rights and duties are important. It includes the rights like right to equality, right to freedom, right to equality, right against exploitation, right to religion, right to education, right to freedom, right to equality, right against exploitation, right to religion, right to education, and right to constitutional remedies and right to constitutional remedies. These are some of the rights that are being given to the citizens of India. So friends, here we have the information about basic feature, that is fundamental rights and duties. Now friends, we learn about the other basic features in our next section. Thank you.